Real quick. Anything?
That'll bring us back.
Kind of get the feeling. The last patch around that too. You got a bad feeling.
Yeah. Don't have to work.
For some reason, I gotta be alone for the steers.
Go ahead.
Leaving at 7:10.
It's 1 a.m. You put us this close to the street
Your head's in the shot. So go left or go right, or go home. Fucking Johnny come late.
Yeah, it's a little close. At least open up more of
Yeah, push it back.
Dean is likely going to be the first person.
Let's do this. Oh, they didn't even open for this guy? That's what I thought. Y'all saw a lot of places in YouTube that they can make it for. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Tom and Bill.
Okay. Did you come in on
Yes.
That's what I say. Yeah, we cannot pay it. Like, there's no way.
Say that again?
I think we could make it.
I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any images.
Plug it in.
No. I'm getting added.
I don't wait to
Go for four. Go for four.
No, but I think I always think of that Buffalo Bills season. Like that one season. Like,
Okay.
He made the move. He was the deal. He was Labor Day. A lot of the CFO quarterbacks got a lot of American
I've done a little bit of
I just, I'm not happy with it. Yeah. I think I wouldn't want to do this.
And you get
Yep. You will.
yeah. And that's why they always do the fence around here so they can take training. And it's easy for them. But they don't do it like you're like this. Yeah, I should
I kind of drove. Parked 3 blocks.
training.
No, I like it.
What'd they get you for parking?
Probably 60. I get there after 2, it'll be 75. I'm billing these guys.
Yeah. Well, it took me. I live right in Jersey, right over the Lincoln Tunnel. So I got one of those jitney buses. It was like $3. It's like $3. So even if after 2 I'll just take an Uber home, probably do like 45. Still better than driving and paying 70. You know what I mean? It'd save a couple bucks.
Pineapple on it, I'm picking it.
Who do you work for? The UFC or?
No, I'm at IATSE 100. But yeah, they hired me for this one. Tomorrow I'm working with NFL Films.
So they just subcontract you out for whatever.
Yeah, they asked me a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna work this fight. I said, yeah.
The gate was 2.85 million. The attendance was 17,011. Can't read this, second largest something. Awesome. Fight of the night was Weidman versus Jacre, and the performance of the nights were Israel and Cormier. So that won $50,000. Congratulations to them. I can't figure that out. What was it? Second one.
Second largest commercial pay-per-view event of this year.
Boom. Good for us. Huh?
Second, so that was number one.
Who's got the first question?
Dana, were you, anything surprised you about the main event, DC's dominance, or did you see that kind of going that way possibly?
Yeah, listen, that was obviously a possibility, but yeah, I was surprised at how easily he dominated him and did whatever he wanted to do. Impressive.
We were all talking yesterday about, where does John Jones rank? Could he be the best of all time? But where would you put DC on that list? He's got to be up close to the top
Absolutely,
spot.
and not just for what he's done fighting two different weight classes, undefeated at heavyweight. Only lost to John Jones at light heavyweight, and outside of the octagon too. Who he is, how he represents the sport, how he represents the brand, how good he is as a broadcaster, and I mean, the guy's just all around incredible.
One day when you decide to possibly step away from the UFC, could DC be a guy to be the president of the UFC? You think it's could be an ambassador in that way?
Oh, definitely. If you look at when we do the promos now, I mean, he's one of the big guys that you see in the promos that breaking down fights, talking about fights, whether he's on the desk at Fox or he's calling the fights for us, whatever he does. I mean, the guy is incredible. He could do anything. He literally could do anything. I saw him doing an interview with him. He actually posted one of the interviews he did with the media the other day, talking about how Derrick changed his life, and this guy's for me. This guy's a smart guy, and I mean, I was just so blown away and impressed by the interview. I'm like, I'm reposting. Have you ever seen me repost an interview that's been done by that? I've never done it.
It was ours too. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Was that yours?
And if I didn't,
You did that?
well, it was
You're just trying to take credit for it?
team.
Team effort.
Team effort. Last thing for you, Dana, is Brock next for DC, and any idea of when that could happen?
I don't know. We gotta see. I don't know what he's got going on. Brock, that is. He just got done with having.
Congratulations once again. Third time here at the Guardian, 205, Connor, wild, 217, ridiculous, 3 title changes, mayhem, wildness. How would you sum up tonight?
Thanks. It was awesome. I mean, this card was incredible. Incredible from the bottom to the top. I think you saw some new stars break out tonight. Cormier is a guy that I was really high on early on when I saw him fight in a couple fights. So then I moved him too fast and I put him in with Glover Teixeira, who wrestled him to death. Standing up, he was beating Teixeira on the feet. Teixeira wrestled him and whatever. I said, man, this kid could wrestle. This kid could be very dangerous and whatever. But you can't learn to wrestle that fast. So my guys come to me when these fights are falling apart. I'm like, we want to do Cormier versus Branch. I'm like, no, we're not doing Cormier versus Branch. Cormier can't wrestle. You're going to go in there and throw him in there again. They're like, he's begging for this fight. Sometimes we have to protect these guys from themselves. So all this shit goes on. We end up doing it. And wow. I literally got up from my seat and walked over, when he was walking out of the octagon, telling the story. And, wow. Especially against a guy like Branch, the way he you know, he handled the wrestling in that fight. And obviously Israel has been a guy who has been on the rise here for a minute, but I really felt like tonight was his first big test. You know, obviously his opponent hits like a truck and wrestles really well. And Madison Square Garden opening the show, and man, did he deliver. And, you know, many people, including me, think this kid is the future.
Absolutely.
And he went out and put a stamp on it tonight.
Would you like to see DC stay up there or drop down, obviously, against Jones eventually? What do you think DC should do?
I don't know. There's so many options for him right now. You know, let's see what happens with Jones. What I think he should do is go home and spend some time with his family. He stepped up and took this fight on short notice again for us. So just DC should go home, relax, have some fun, and take some time off.
You mentioned Adesanya. I mean, looking back at UFC Perth, it wasn't even that long ago that he made his UFC debut. Tell us a little bit about.
You talking about Israel?
Yeah, Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to us a little bit about this quick rise. Is this one of the?
Yeah, listen.
And working with him.
The minute I saw this kid, I was like, holy shit, this is really good. I like this. Then you hear him talk. I like that too. You know, he's the whole package. He is he's very ambitious. I would like him to pump the brakes a little bit. And, you know, this guy wants to fucking fight everybody right now. And he wants to fight every month, which I love. Listen, you want to become a big star? Keep fighting. If you're a young guy who's healthy enough to fight all the time, I absolutely advise it. Do it. What you don't want to do is come out and put on a great performance and disappear, because people forget real quickly. But yeah, I like him very, very much. And I don't want to move him as fast as he wants to be moved. So he and I will get together and find a happy medium.
Because it's interesting. Obviously, Robert Whittaker will be fighting in Melbourne against Kelvin Gastelum. Is he a guy? He was talking through the media week. He wants to be a backup for that fight. Obviously, Chris Weidman lost his fight, so he's no longer a backup. He's no longer going to be a backup.
Listen,
who's going to be the backup?
I love it. I love this kid. I love this kid. Yeah, maybe he'll be the backup. We'll talk about it. I literally can't sit here and tell you enough good things about this kid. I like this kid a lot. And like I said, he came out tonight and put the stamp on it, man. He came out and really looked good tonight. I mean, if you look at how good he's looked in his other fights, he didn't even finish. He finished Derrick Brunson tonight. It's a big deal.
Final question, Jacre. I mean, he went out there and he showed us a new aspect of his striking game. Was able to beat Chris Weidman. It's kind of like he's got a fresh start. Everybody's excited to see what's next for him now as well. What do you do with a guy like Jacre at this moment?
Yeah, one of the things, I don't know if everybody else noticed this, but in that fight, you know, Chris Weidman came out and was absolutely just picking him apart. But Jacare would not stop moving forward, man. He was moving forward. He was throwing punches. He was ripping him to the body. Great body shots that he had thrown, but he just wouldn't quit. You could tell this guy wanted to win this fight so bad. And he caught him. He ended up catching Weidman, and I thought Weidman had 3 rounds in the bag and was on his way to a win. He was 2 minutes away from winning the fight. But that's what happens when a guy wants to win that bad. He looked good tonight. And yeah, he obviously put himself in a great position, and we'll see what's next for him.
What did you think of the stoppage at the end?
I think that Jacare was a stud at the end, and you know, knew that he was out and he didn't need to take any more punishment. And yeah, you know, I always have a lot of respect for guys who do that. You know, you see some guys do that sometimes and get in trouble. The fight doesn't end and the fight keeps going on. But you could tell by the way Weidman fell, that fight was over.
And saying what you said about DC, knowing what you know about the sport, how do you see a DC Lesnar fight given that Lesnar's been on so long? Is it going to be a dominant performance like this?
Listen, Daniel Cormier, whether he's at light heavyweight or heavyweight, is a tough guy to beat. You know, whether you're Lesnar or Stipe or Derrick Lewis or any of these other guys. The thing was, for people that, what I've been arguing about all week, was people that are saying he didn't deserve this shot. He's the number 2 ranked guy in the world. Who deserves the shot? He just beat Stipe in the first round. He knocked out the heavyweight champion in the first round. This guy's ranked number 2. He just beat the number whatever guy who deserves it. If it's not Derrick Lewis, you know. And whether you got 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, Cormier is a beast. He's a handful for anybody.
And Brock, including Brock, right? I mean, Brock is
Yeah, and definitely Brock. Everybody. I said everybody includes Brock.
Yeah, obviously, with this being the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, Daniel Cormier is a draw for you guys. He seems to think he has one fight left. You have a pay-per-view in March. It's 2 weeks before his birthday in Vegas. Does any part of you want to try to convince this guy to stick around, more than one fight?
No, I never convince anybody to stick around. If somebody thinks they're done, if it even crosses their mind that they're done, you'll never hear an argument out of me. When you say you're done, you're probably done.
But it's interesting, right? Because it seems like Brock will be the last fight, and you said yesterday talking about you feel like him and Jones probably are going to fight again or something. So what happens here? I mean, if it doesn't happen, you're cool with that? If it's just DC fights Brock and retires, and that's it?
I have no idea. If I was a genie, I could tell you that, but I'm not. We got to see how all this stuff plays out. Like I said, this guy's been doing this for a very long time, you know, wrestling and mixed martial arts, and you know, he's going to be 40 years old soon. He's got a lot of wear and tear on his body. Take some rest. He's an absolute freak, man. He's such a talented guy, and when I say talented, I mean in every way, shape, and form. He's a talented guy.
We had Ben Askren come backstage tonight. He was in the house. Do you have a chance to speak with him?
Yeah, we just talked when I was. This guy thinks I hate him and all this. If I hated you, why would I do that? I'm the one that did this deal. I'm the one that came up with this deal. This was my idea. Why would I do this if I hated you so bad and didn't want you to be here? It makes no sense.
You want to block him on Twitter?
I didn't even know that he was blocked on Twitter. Yeah, yeah. It like wasn't my first priority. You know, I've been doing some shit. You know, I've been busy. But yes, I had my girl that does it unblock him on Twitter.
Do you have any idea when he could debut? He seems to really want, you know, Colby Covington, Darren Till, one of those guys.
I'm just as excited. Listen, and in this sport, you know, you find guys that people believe are great, or they believe they're great. It's very hard to go undefeated in this sport. I don't care who you are, who you fought. Very hard to go undefeated. And we have situations like this. I love bringing people in like him to find out if they really are. It's incredible. It's a great, you know, in my opinion, it was a great deal for me.
And the first quarter schedule for 2019, you guys announced that tonight. It's like 11 events in the first 3 months or whatever. Can you just talk about how you're thinking together for that, the transition to ESPN, and, you know, is there any fights being made at that point for that first big ESPN show in Brooklyn?
Yeah, we're working on all that stuff now. Actually, this fight had a lot to do with what was going to go on there. So we wanted to get this one behind us, and we'll be back in the office Tuesday making fights and getting ready for the first of the year.
What do you mean by that? Is that just meaning like some of the guys on this card can be on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple quick questions for some of the losers, unfortunately, in this. Weidman, it's been rumored maybe if he lost and lost back, it might be his last attempt at 185. Maybe he moves up a division. Is that part of the thought process now? He's lost to a lot of the top fighters in the division. Might be stuck in limbo if he doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know anything about what he's going to do after tonight. I haven't heard anything. We haven't talked. And obviously, leading up to a fight, we're not talking about what's going to happen if he loses. You know what I mean? You know, Weidman will go home, probably take a couple weeks, and you know, shake this off, and then start talking about what's next for him.
And with Lewis, you know, losing to Cormier is, you know, everybody's lost except for one person, obviously.
Right.
So it's not the end of the world.
Not terribly damaging to him to lose to the champion.
Are there thoughts of who we, you know, Nagano, Stipe, just whomever just happens to fall in his lap in a few months?
Who? Derrick?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You mentioned that Adesanya is very ambitious, but you want him to pump the brakes a little. There was something on the UFC Twitter right after the fight about him possibly fighting Rockhold soon. Would you like him to fight that high caliber of an opponent next, or would you like him to kind of work his way up to the middleweight division?
That's absolutely not true, and that probably was something that was you know, who should he fight type thing.
Yeah.
Should it be Rockhold? Should it be this? Yeah, it's not true. We have an opponent in mind for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Rockhold.
Does his rise remind you at all of Connor's rise with just like calling people out, talking smack, and beating opponents that are favored against him, fighting
No,
off?
I think it's totally different. I think he's a completely different person than Connor. He has a completely different personality than Connor. He's very different. Obviously, a very different fighting style than Connor. I wouldn't compare those two at all.
Would you consider doing something with him and Whitaker in Australia or New Zealand in the future, considering they're both from that area?
Well, he was just saying, gentleman over here was saying that Israel wants to be the backup on that card. So we'll see.
Have you talked to Diaz at all about tonight?
No.
Do you have a message for him
No.
regarding 165 or anything like that, even after all these weeks?
No.
Do you think that, would you like to see him versus Dustin in the future still happen?
I'm not interested. Listen, I've explained this 100,000 times. We have a guy who loves the Diaz brothers. He tried to make this fight. This fight did not happen. We call those guys and we offer them fights.
So no regrets, but I mean, the card's still dominated, still crushed without him, so.
There you have
There it is.
Actually forgot he was supposed to be on the card.
My man.
Yeah.
Damn, over here.
Yep.
It's a bit of a change of pace of 5 weeks, obviously. There's a lot of animosity in the previous 5 weeks. How nice and relaxing is it for you to just have a calm, smooth sailing and almost jovial 5 weeks?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Amazing.
I'm deaf, man. You gotta just talk a little louder.
I'm saying the last 5 weeks there was a lot of animosity between obviously Connor and Khabib. This one's the complete opposite.
Right.
How nice is it to have a nice jovial 5 week?
Listen, it is what it is. I mean, I say it all the time. It's the fight business. You're gonna have people that don't like each other. Israel and Brunson weren't very friendly with each other. They there was some animosity between those two, but that's normal. This is people fight for a living, and you're gonna have the guys that don't like each other, and you're gonna have the guys that totally respect each other and have no problems. It's all good to me. The thing is that we were prepared for the whole Khabib thing. We were ready for all the stuff that happened. I didn't let fans come to that first press conference, and I was absolutely right not to let fans come to that thing. Then we were ready for anything that could possibly happen, and Khabib slipped through that one guy's arms and got over that fence, and but even when he did, we had the whole thing wrapped up in 40 seconds. Less than 40 seconds. I didn't put the belt on him. Nobody was throwing things till he got to the tunnel. All good.
Well, like you've touched on the lightweight division there. Obviously, it's nearly been a month since everything that happened in Las Vegas. Have you had any thoughts on how you can proceed with that?
Proceed with the division?
Yes.
Well, we're on, we're on the Nevada State Athletic Commission's time now. We're waiting till November or December, whenever that thing is, and when that thing plays out, then we'll know where we sit. Then we'll know what's next.
And I don't know if you saw Connor's Instagram post not too long ago. He said that he's willing to fight whoever's next in line if he doesn't get the rematch.
Connor and I talked for an hour last week, and typical Connor, I would love an immediate rematch. I want to fight him again, but I'll fight whoever I got to fight to get back to him if that's not the case.
And final one for me, John Jones is back now. Do you believe this is do or die for him now? Obviously, all his past transgressions.
Do I think that what?
This is his last chance.
Yeah, I mean, if John Jones had another mistake leading up to this fight, it would be, it would blow his career. Yeah.
Just speaking of the welterweight and lightweight division, have you had any contact with George St. Pierre? Obviously with Ben Askren in here, a big dream fight has always been Askren versus GSP. Would that at all be considered when thinking about what could be the first fight?
We haven't talked to GSP at all, no.
And just on Luke Rockhold, obviously he was really drawn to go back to middleweight because of this rivalry with him and Chris Weidman. Now that Weidman's lost, and we know the complications that he has with some of these weight cuts, would you be looking at possibly putting him up and letting him go up to light heavyweight and possibly fight a guy like an Anthony Smith or someone like that?
I've always been cool with that. He's having problems with his leg. He's got bigger issues than where he wants to fight. Every time he gets better and tries to get into camp and get in shape, leg keeps splitting open. So We've got to figure that out before we can even think about another opponent for him.
Just last one for me, since Khabib came up, I know we have to wait for the commission thing to unfold, but his team did come out and say that if he was to fight again, they want a $50 million payday. Is that realistic for him for his next fight?
Sure.
What is realistic?
Huh?
What is realistic for him?
They know what's realistic for them. They know the answer to that question. It's fun to say though. About 50 million. Go ahead.
Hi, what's going on with your plans to step in the boxing world? You said once you wanted to step in the boxing world to do some promotion. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm working on it, man. I've been flying around for the last 2 weeks working on boxing deals. So
At least one detail or whatever.
soon, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm coming. Good?
That opponent you guys said you had in mind for Adesanya, could it be Anderson Silva?
Adesanya?
Yeah.
Anybody is possible right now for him.
You did say you had an opponent in mind, though.
Well, I do. Yeah, I do have one.
Is that?
I'm not announcing it tonight, but I have one in mind. I mean, there's still, we still got to talk to, you know. I haven't even talked to Israel yet. He texted me after the fight, and that's it. I haven't talked to him, seen him, nothing. So when I see him, we'll talk. And
He's right there.
He's in here?
Back to the room.
What's up, buddy?
Pizza back here, so I'm eating.
Is he eating pizza?
Now,
What's up? How are you, kid? All right, you guys want him next?
Yes, he's up.
All right, he's up. Have a great night, everybody.
Right here. Congrats on the win. You said earlier this week you were going to make light work of Derrick Brunson this evening. Do you feel you accomplished that goal?
Yeah, pretty much. Joe said Paul gave me an A+. It was a B- because there was some things I was trying to get done early on in the fight that I wasn't able to establish, like my jab. So yeah, it was light work though. Like I said, a stroll in the garden, a walk in the garden.
Paul also called you the best striker in the UFC right now at the end of the broadcast.
Yeah, I feel that way, but I'm the best fighter. I want to prove I'm the best fighter. Like, you know, my ego, like I've told some of you reporters, I said my ego was what drove me here, because I knew I'm the best striker in the world. But I've seen too many street fights, too many situations end up on the ground, like 80% of street fights. And I always feel, I never want to feel vulnerable in any situation. I never want to feel like another guy can have me, you know? So, yeah, my ego was what drove me here. And a lot of guys, won't even dare step in here. Like a guy like James Tony had balls to step in here in the octagon and do work, you know? So I had to take time to learn the craft of MMA, grappling, immerse myself in it. And that's all behind the scenes. So everyone that's picking against me, I can understand, you know, I forgive you. Because you don't know what you do, you know. But hey, this is not striking. This is not jiu-jitsu. This is not boxing. This is MMA, the UFC. I think this is the pinnacle of combat sports. So if you want to prove not just the best boxer, not the best kickboxer, the best jiu-jitsu guy. If you want to be the best fighter in the world, this is where you prove it.
And just to start walking through the fight a little bit, at the beginning, you guys got separated. You were yelling out. Was Derrick grabbing your shorts at that point?
If you, on your first exchange, when you come at me and you, first thing he does is grab my shorts blatantly, and I kind of side looked, felt that, did Herb see that? And I didn't see that, alright. And the second time was so blatant, I was like, what the fuck, dude, come on. Like, if he's doing that so early on, you know he wasn't ready, you know he wasn't prepared, he was just clutching at straws, if you will. You know, he's just like, oh shit. I mean, he's panicking from the get-go. I already knew. Anytime he saw me outside of the cameras and stuff, he started talking shit. I'm like, dude, just save your energy. Don't worry, I'll see you tomorrow. But he was already panicking, so I knew he was gonna come at me.
Yeah. Do you feel like you proved a lot by, you stopped a ton of his takedown attempts, or his takedown attempts?
I've been stuff in takedowns behind the scenes. I've been stuff in takedowns in all my UFC. Excuse me. Ooh, pizza's coming up. in all my UFC fights, I've been stuffing takedowns, and yeah, I really, even the first one, because my wrestling coach Andre, he's a lot smaller than him, a lot sharper, so he came at me at a different frame rate. So Derrick came at me at the slowest frame rate. I was just like, I was so surprised. I was surprised that like he grabbed me, kind of how I go grab with the elbow. I went at him with just a different speed. So his takedown, the shot was so slow. And after that, I felt him against the cage. When he was on me, I turned him away. I spun around on him, but I felt I didn't really like the position I was in, so I let him turn me back. I let him, by the way. And then, yeah, I just did whatever I want after I broke away.
And then just last thing for me, what do you think happens next? Dana was just up here, he says they have an idea. Do you know anything on the inside here?
Let me bring up my case. So, you have, before the fight, I wouldn't tell a lot of you guys this. I didn't want to say like, oh, I want, Chris Weidman was the only guy I felt if he won, even in lackluster fashion, but if he won in spectacular fashion, he would be the guy next in line. That's what I felt. But now that didn't happen, you have Jacre, who has lost to both Kelvin and Robert. Who wants to see that again? Come on. Who wants to see that again? So you go. Who else? Jared, he did well tonight. I didn't really see the fight, so I wasn't sure if it was a back and forth or if it was an actual thing. Well, I know he did well tonight in the third round, but I got mine done in the first round. So yeah, I'll leapfrog that. And then you have Joel, who didn't make it, unreliable. Rockhold, and also he missed weight. Joel doesn't make weight all the time, so that's unreliable. Rockhold, he makes weight, but same thing, pulls out, unreliable. Pull out game strong. What else do we have? We need something fresh, like something that just makes sense, like trans-Tasman rivalry. We've got the Aussies. If he wins, what's up, Guns? If he wins, Robert, if he wins against Calvin, even if he doesn't, if Calvin wins, we can still do it. Mexicano versus the Kiwi, the black Kiwi, the Niger boy. But if Robert wins, it just makes so much sense to do it in Auckland, Spark Arena. Because when I talked to Dana, like, after my last fight, he said, I want to make some crazy money. And I was like, yeah, so let's make some crazy money. And it makes sense. Rankings also, he was, but the rankings, the wisdom of the rankings. Who makes the rankings? Can someone tell me who makes the rankings? Have you guys ever fought before?
Yeah. We don't make
Any of you? What?
We don't make it.
Oh, you guys is all. Oh, no, he did it. No, he did it. Come on, man. Fuck rankings. I can swear here. Fuck rankings. All that shit doesn't make sense. It makes sense. Yeah, feel you. Testify. Woo. But what makes sense is what the people want to see, and the people want to see me. They don't want to see the same old dance, the same old shit, the same old guys who've had chances after chances at title shots. I got told today I'm the only guy 4 fights in 2018 and winning, the only guy in the UFC. So that's an achievement unlocked. And come on, who else can you see? So he has his ideas. I know Derrick can be persuaded. People can shift. They can make the people. They're the ones. So the people, if you want to see me, just let it be known, and they'll bend to your will.
Here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Early in the exchange, you threw the question mark kick on the lead side. He wagged his finger. You threw the question mark kick from the rear side. And that's kind of started the downfall. Was that
the second one?
Was that when you saw the finger? You're like, oh, I'll show you kind of thing?
So the first one, I didn't set it up enough. Like for people, you have to you have to slow cook them. So I think I did what I wanted to do to set it up. I have many ways to set it up. So I did what I wanted to do to set it up, and I threw it too early. I should have listened to my coach because he even said chill, Shannon, chill, And he wagged his finger because it brushed up his shoulder, and then eventually he ran to my knee. And the second one was like a 4x2, so I hit him with the question mark kick and a punch straight away, and the punch was what dropped him, but the question mark kick was what distracted him. Would have rocked him as well because he was already on the jelly legs. He was doing the Dougie the whole time from I don't know what time it was in the round, but he was doing the Dougie for about a minute and a bit. And I don't rush. Like I said, I'm not a bum like him. I don't bum rush. You saw how he fought Whitaker. He just bum rushed him. I don't do that. A lot of guys in the UFC, they hurt a guy, they smell the blood in the water, they just, and then they gas out. I pick my shots like a surgeon. I look, and I wasn't even hitting him hard. I was just touching him. All I want to do is touch him. I should say pause, but I'm going to say play. Fuck that. All I want to do is just touch him, and eventually they'll fall. Just touch the chin, everyone. I told him drop the chin or I will, and I did.
Thank you.
Over here. So to clarify with the rankings, you can see on UFC.com the list of the media members who do actually comprise the rankings panels.
Okay.
So you can name and shame whoever you
I'll
dislike
look at
on
that,
there.
and I want to see. I'll look on YouTube. I'll Google them. What I want is like someone, say maybe retired fighters or people who are actually involved in the sport in a physical sense, who have been immersed in it, who have actually been in there, or in some sense, not just maybe on the mat, in the ring, in any other cage. But if you're like someone who just doesn't really know much about the sport, and you start deciding like, oh well, this guy's better than this guy. I think this guy's what doesn't make sense. It's like the judging of MMA is getting better. Like I think they still use some boxing guys, but at least they're learning. They're learning the game now and not realizing like, oh, just because he's on top, he's winning. Oh, he's pressing forward, he's winning. You know, it's evolving. This is a new sport. This has only been around since 1993, so that's really small in the larger scale of things. But yeah, I'll look that up. I will. Thank you for the plug. I appreciate that.
My question, were you actually really mad about the short grab? You flipped him off. You were yelling at the ref.
He's cheating. That's cheating. And he said to ref, only did it once. He did it twice. Watch the tape. Literally, watch the tape. He did it the first thing he did when he shot. He grabbed us on my right side. And I just felt like, okay, Herb didn't see that. I kind of glanced. And then the second time was just so blatant because he's panicking. You were scared. I was just, I need to take this guy down. And the thing is, I kind of half hope he did. I wanted him to just have hope, like, so I can just show him what's up. And then when I sweep him, show him what my top game's like. Because a lot of these guys keep thinking, oh, he's just a kickboxer. The smart ones, only the smartest coaches would have been watching for a long time. They would have been seeing what I'm doing. And they would have been like, okay, this guy's getting better. And he said on something, I can't remember, a story, or one of you guys' story, I just happened to see it. He said, I see him beat Brad. I thought, he can fight okay. Who's okay now? Who's skinny now? Huh? You got body by a skinny nigga. What you mean?
Congrats.
Guns.
What's up, baby? How are you, man?
Good.
We spoke earlier this week. You had gone to the Knicks game. You were all about Madison Square Garden. Describe the atmosphere and coming in here and dominating in front of New York City, obviously worldwide, but still, it's Madison Square Garden. Describe that atmosphere and how good it feels to get that victory.
Yeah, it was dope. For me, when I pick my walkout track, I pick something that I've been vibing with lately, something that puts me in a groovy mood. And nothing's groovier right now than Smile Bitch by Lil Duval. That shit just got me in the mood. I thought I'm just gonna walk out and head down. And as soon as I walked out, I just remember like, what? Oh. And I just came out. I was feeling myself. And then his track was dope as well by Lil Wayne. Like, so he helped me out with that one. Played yourself. But yeah, I just felt, and even in the cage, he was trying to look at me and start. I could read what he was doing. He's like, he came in, ran past me, kind of glanced a little bit, and then when he got to his other side, he's like, okay, I'm gonna look at him now. I'm gonna stare at him. Whoever looks away first. I'm just like, and I lulled him into a little soft thing with like smiles. I just made him look into my eyes and just hypnotized him a little bit, and then just hypnotized him, and then he just kind of like got shook. And Bruce Buffer came in, and I just did my thing. But yeah, I love the vibe, man. It was beautiful. Like after the fight, when it was done, I always wait till it's done. I hit the shaku and the guara, then I give him a little gallop, and I just soaked it all in. I chased that dragon. That's like since my debut and my first fight. Every time like you do something crazy, people roar, and it just fuels your energy, it just fuels your soul, and it's just like eventually one day all this shit's gonna go away, and I'll be okay with that. Don't get me wrong. I can go cold turkey anytime, but. I love that shit, man. Honestly, it was so beautiful, just soaking that atmosphere. So, I'm still gonna go home. Where it really dawns on me is in the shower when I had my first shower, because that's when you're alone with your thoughts, and then you get to like just. All right, next time can you put me in a better hotel, please, or a better room? Because last time in Vegas, I was at the Park MGM. I got the best suite adjacent to my coach's, like a connecting joint, and the shower was like, yo. I said so much room for activity. It was so big I could just run around, do laps, and that was fun. I just laid on the floor and let the water run all over me, and that was really good just to meditate and just chill in there and just breathe and soak it all in. So yeah, I'm gonna do that in the shower anyway. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I love the vibe.
4 wins, 8 months. I mean, you've been crushing it. You're huge. Not even up and coming because you've been busting your ass for years. Obviously, the diehards know it for sure. Are you gonna take some time off now? I mean, you kicked off the pay-per-view. What's next? Do you think you deserve like a co-main event now? You're gonna wait out 5 months before you fight? Will we see you in January? All right.
Main event.
But like, are we talking January? Are you gonna wait till June or until it happens? What do you think?
So the last 2 Christmases, and it's summer in New Zealand, it's going into summer right now. The last 2 Christmases in summer in New Zealand, I haven't really enjoyed it like I would because I've had to train through it. You know, I've had a fight in January or February, so I just work through the holidays and I have a little fun along the way. But fuck that shit this time. I've got my friend's wedding in Ireland. Both of my friends, they get married in December, so I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna do a little Europe tour and just, yeah, I can't get fat, I try, but I get a little swole, a little chunky, but I'm just gonna eat the great food over there, drink, and enjoy myself. Like literally, you can't, and I can still, don't get me wrong, if Adelaide's not far away, I'll bring my mouthpiece just in case, but yeah, for me it's smart just to take my foot off the pedal. This fight, I was limping. Like you can ask Dan Booker, people at my gym. I had like baddest, and I'll post the video it'll make sense, but my knee was so inflamed. And shout out to my dad. My dad was a smart one in this one. He kind of like said, just take some time off, take a week off, and then Eugene agreed, said, okay, we'll take a week off, and we'll see how we feel. Then we'll make the call. And within 3 days, my knee was getting better. Then I had a cortisone shot. On like 4 days later, I checked with USADA, checked with the snitch, go to the snitch real quick, and said, yeah, that's cool. And then, yeah, 3 days already, it was feeling so much better. And then I go back to the gym and I started killing it. But I'm gonna have to have surgery just to like take away whatever niggly injury it was. Because I'm not a doctor. I can show you. He showed me on a bone thing and showed me what it was. Meniscus on the thing with jiggy. Yeah. So I'm gonna just take some time off, really enjoy myself, soak it all in. And I'm coming back stronger. All you middleweights, stay ready, because I'll stay ready.
So just quickly, I mean, you mentioned that you wanted to be the fill-in for February 10th with the surgery. Obviously, there's no chance that you could be the backup for this Robert Wood. It could get Kelvin Gastelum fight in Melbourne, February 10th.
I've fought injured so many times for so many years. I'm being a lot smarter and being a lot more proactive. You know, I see people like my chiro, my physio, and I get massages weekly. No happy ending. Just to make sure my whole system is running. Like, also I'm 29. I'm just about to hit my prime. When I was younger, I fought with broken. I'm good at that, but I have to be smarter now. You know, this is a UFC. This is a big league. You can't come in and just come in with it. You avoid any kind of injury as you can. You know, but yeah, I'll see. I'll see how I feel right now, because I get itchy knuckles and itchy feet real quick. Like if I sit around for too long. When I was like fucking around on Instagram posting like a SpongeBob and Squidward, that was that week because I was so bored. I was just like at home, just fucking. I get real like aggravated if I don't train, if I don't let that testosterone out. So yeah, I started trolling everyone on Instagram, and yeah, I'll see. Sometimes I get itchy feet, itchy knuckles, and we'll see what happens.
Just quickly, a name that you didn't mention yet, Anderson Silva. What do you think about a potential fight against Anderson Silva? Obviously, he's a legend of the game. Is that something that would appeal to you?
It's normal. It's normal, you know. Yeah, Anderson, he got the suspended, got lifted, so he back. But I already called him out, kind of like they say, work till your idols become your rivals. And if not watching him at UFC 90, I've already seen him on the DVD, but the first one I watched on pay-per-view live was UFC 90 when he dismantled Patrick Cote with just so many different styles, different moves, and then like telekinesis, this brain, his knee out, and like that was amazing. That made me like, if a skinny black guy can do this and just have this run, I'm a skinny black guy. I can do this and have this run. And from fight number 4, I just knew I'm gonna be the best at this. I already knew. So that fight interests me, but we don't have to. Some of you don't. I don't have to do it if I don't want to do it because my man's great. Leave him alone. Yeah, let him be great.
Meteoric rise is what comes up a lot earlier with Dana, and very intelligent when you speak, both with your trash talking.
Shit though. I do some dumb shit. Trust me.
Trash talking as well as your fight IQ. What do you see your marketing ability in regards to moving forward with, Derrick Lewis getting a Popeyes shout out? Do you see yourself branching off into that with sponsors, I should say?
Well, we're in New York, and The New York Stock Exchange says Styles is all the way up, all the way up. All the people that said no, which one's on? Is that right one? Everyone that said no, everyone that said, he's not what we're looking for, everyone that said, maybe later, maybe, the price is quadrupling every single fight. So you're gonna fucking pay. Pay me, fuck you.
I look good, no? Not so bad, my face, no? You hit hard.
Jacre, great win on 2 of the judges' scorecards for the first 2 rounds. They had Lyman winning. Did you feel a sense of urgency going into the 3rd round?
Não, eu sabia que quando a minha mão entrasse, a luta ia acabar. Eu estava sentindo que no 3º round ele não tinha mais tanta potência como no primeiro. Então, quando a minha mão entrou, foi o fim.
I knew that when I connect my hand, the fight would be over. I could feel he was losing his power through the rounds. So that was my game plan, just to put a strong punch and finish the fight.
I won the 2nd round, bro.
And he believe he won the 2nd round.
Did the nosebleed at all affect your breathing throughout the fight?
Deu mais vontade de vencer. Normal. Sentiu o gostinho de sangue, ferrugem, mas tá bom.
Gave me more will to win the fight. I taste the blood, and I feel like, yes, let's keep doing this.
So what's next for you? Big win, obviously, on a top 5 contender. Do you feel that you want to get a title shot next, or do you want to do another fight against another top 5?
100% title shot. I deserve this, that chance. Já tive a chance de lutar pelo title shot antes, né? Só que dessa vez eu me credenciei mais uma vez e agora eu vou lutar com o campeão de Robert Whittaker e Kelvin Gastelum.
I believe after this fight, I got a gradation to go for it and fight for the title shot. I had close chances before, but now it's clear the chance is in front of me. To fight the winner, Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum.
So, to continue with what the gentleman said, as you heard, you were losing on some scorecards. Does that, if you didn't know that before, now that you know, does this impact you, and how is this like one of the biggest comeback wins of your career, perhaps? You've had a long career. It's like, how does this rank up with some of the other wins?
Foi uma grande vitória, um grande adversário, um cara que eu sou fã. Eu sigo ele nas redes sociais, entendeu? Pra mim foi uma das maiores vitórias que eu tive.
It was a great victory for me. I'm a big fan of him, and in my opinion, it was my great victory on my career.
And last question, you made a concerted effort to go to the body, more so than I think most of us can remember in some of your previous fights. Was that a strategy going forward, or was it something that you saw was open for you?
Eu só confiei mais na minha mão. Se vocês repararem, ele sentiu o golpe embaixo antes, e por isso que a minha mão entrou na cabeça.
I just touched my hand. If you guys look at the fight, you're gonna see that he felt my hand, my punch before, on the body, and I just touched my hand and keep doing it to push.
Jacre, the end of the fight when he was knocked out, it seemed like the referee didn't want to stop the fight, but you wanted to stop the fight. Can you explain what happened there?
Eu fiquei muito chateado, eu vi que já tinha acabado. Meu irmão entrou ali e caiu muito mal. Entendeu? Eu não precisava dar mais aquelas 2 porradas. Eu avisei pro juiz, mas infelizmente eu tive que bater para o juiz terminar a luta.
Yeah, I got very upset with the referee. I knew the way he felt, the fight was over. And the judge was like waiting me to continue punching him, so I just threw him one more without really want to do it. But I knew the fight was over. Yeah, I was kind of very pissed with the judge about that.
It looked like you said something to the referee too. Do you remember what you said to him?
Não falo nada. Ali a gente tá pra lutar, não posso falar com o juiz, né? Mas eu fiz um gesto pra ele, tipo assim, ó, he's done. Ele não pode lutar mais. Mas aí o juiz não, acho que...
I kind of knew I cannot talk to the judge, so I made a gesture and I told him, it's done, it's done.
Vou perguntar em português, tá? Aí, vê aí, Jacare. Vocês foram muito amigáveis nessa semana. Você respeita muito o Chris respeita muito você. É verdade, e toda a sua família também respeita muito ele, a família dele também. É verdade que a sua mulher chegou a ficar preocupada com a saúde do Chris Weidman?
Yeah, I know you guys respect each other, that you guys like each other's family, that your wife likes your family, and vice versa. Is that true that your wife called and worried about how Chris Weidman was after the fight?
Antes de ser lutador, nós fomos pais de família. Eu tenho minha esposa, tenho meus filhos, ele tem a esposa, tem os filhos dele também. E eu sou fã, eu sigo ele nas redes sociais. Então a nossa família gosta dele, porque eu falo sobre o Chris, eu falo sobre a grande pessoa que ele é. Então, quando aconteceu isso, a minha esposa perguntou, vá lá no locker room e fala com ele, vê como é que ele está, vê se ele está bem. Isso é normal, preocupação, né?
Before you're fighters, we are family members, you have family, we both have family. I'm a big fan, I like him for a long time, I like his family, my family likes his family. I know that he likes my family, vice versa. So for me, it was like, really was make sure that he was all right. And my wife told me to make sure that I go see him after the fight and make sure he was all right. We like each other as a family and a people, as a person as well.
If you do get the title shot, who would you rather fight, Jacre or Whitaker? You've obviously faced both of them already.
Winner.
The winner.
You don't have a preference? Who do you think wins?
Não quero saber, eu quero pegar o vencedor, não quero nem pensar em quem vai ganhar, eu quero pegar o vencedor e trucidar.
I don't even think who's gonna win crossing my mind. I just want to get the winner and smash. I want to run through the winner.
I never lose a rematch.
And I never lost a rematch.
Speaking of today, what did you think of Israel Adesanya's performance?
É impressionante, esse cara é impressionante. Ele é muito impressionante, ele tem chance de lutar para cima, mas eu também já fiz aquilo ali e fiz melhor que ele, entendeu? Então ele vai ter que lutar com outros caras mais duros.
Very impressive. He's an impressive fighter. He deserves one have a better shot as well in the future. But what he did today, I've done that too. So you got to go through more fights, tough guys, to get his chance for a title shot as well.
Eu fiz melhor que ele 2 vezes.
And I did it better than him twice.
Okay. How do you think a fight between you two would play out if you fought him right now?
Eu vou lutar pelo title shot, vou pensar no cara.
Gonna fight for the title shot. Why are you gonna think about him?
Oh, does not make sense.
Makes no sense.
It seems like you had to fight tonight's fight like it was a title fight, right? I mean, there was some desperation involved with this fight for you.
Não, desespero não. Eu sempre quando me aperto, quando eu estou num momento difícil, eu faço um bom trabalho. Então eu sabia que eu ia fazer um bom trabalho, eu sabia o quão duro o Chris Weidman é, então eu vim para vencer e venci.
Every time I'm under pressure, I excel, I do better. So I knew Chris Weidman was an awesome, great opponent, and I did my best, show up, and I got the win. Napkins, napkins. Please, we got pizza here.
Woo, I love it. Thank you so much.
I didn't think it was. Jacare? Aqui desse lado, do outro lado. Jacare. Tá bom?
Pede pro ele.
Jacare, até aquele momento, quando acabou o segundo round, como você estava pontuando, como o seu corner estava pontuando a luta?
At the end of the second round, how your corner was pointing, was giving the scoring that fight at the moment?
Eles falaram, você perdeu primeiro, segundo, você venceu, mas foi apertado. Você tem que pressionar, pressiona, guarda alta, cabeça, body and head.
You lost first round, you won second round pretty close. You gotta put pressure on, you gotta hit the body and hit the head. Pressure on it.
É porque você mencionou pra gente, antes da luta, que lutas muito próximas você costuma perder na decisão do juiz. Eu acabei de olhar a papelada dos juízes, 2 jurados tinham dado os 2 rounds para ele. Então, se fosse por pontos, você perderia de novo.
Yeah, you told me before, every time you have a close fight, you end up losing to the judges, to the referee, the judges. So this time, when I look at the scorecard, 2 judges gave 2 rounds for them. So you think that would happen again?
It's horrible. I never won a close fight. Every time when my fight go to the judges, they never give a victory from me. I need to come to the octagon and put the guy some heads out. It's on me to do, it's not gonna do. I'm here to be a champ.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Now we'll have Derrick Lewis.
Peace.
You just, it's been a little bit since the fight ended. Can you just give us some reflections on how you felt things unfolded tonight?
I don't understand why you're asking me questions.
Why you're here, did you just feel like you not feel speaking to us tonight, or? Is there anything you want to address at all?
Shit, he did what we thought he was gonna do, wrestle. Shit, point blank. Shit, I was feeling good in the second round, throwing, had a good movement going, and shit, he just went for the takedown.
What was the game plan for you? Was it to hopefully be able to stop those takedowns and just land a big shot?
Yes, for sure. Really, in the third round, we thought we had the upper hand to really finish the fight in the third. And my breathing was good, everything was good. We just had to wait till the third round to really turn it on.
What did Daniel say to you after the fight? It looks like you guys exchanged some words in the cage.
He just said, keep my head up basically and just keep going. I'll be back.
And how do you feel right at this moment about your future? You've obviously been super active in the past few years, the most active heavyweight on the roster. Are you looking forward to some time off now?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully I don't have to fight no more this year. Get some time off and they can hit me up before the summer next year.
Just last thing. Obviously you took this fight very short notice. You had a tough fight a few weeks ago. You said all the right things leading up to it, but are you able to reveal now how, were you in the shape that you said you were in leading into this fight? Were you as healthy as you were saying pre-fight?
Yeah, I was pretty good. Nothing was hurting. My conditioning was there. Probably like one of the best shapes I've been in, physically and mentally, really.
Derrick, just when you look back, do you think that maybe you wish you had some more time to prepare for someone like DC? Obviously, he has a very high level of wrestling, full camp instead of just 4 weeks notice, even though you were having this fight until about 3 weeks ago.
Not at all. I was still in good shape. I've been wrestling and learned how to do wrestling defense my whole career, so it was nothing new.
He said in the post-fight that you did catch him with one coming in that bothered his eye. Do you recall that one, and
Was there anything to kind of build on from there, do you think, for you?
Not really, shit, I didn't feel anything whenever I hit him. If I did hit him, I didn't feel it.
And then just the last thing, this whole experience, obviously, there's a loss, but there were some gains, financial, sponsorship-wise. A good experience overall for you, do you think?
Yeah, of course.
Real quick, so obviously the goal had been obviously trying to take his head off. We've seen in the lead up, you had a lot of good wrestling get-ups off your back, get up off your sides. Were you expecting that low single that he kept going after? You kept on going with the ankle pick and getting real low on you. Was that in the camp that you've been working on, or did that not come up?
No, he did pretty good on that. I didn't expect for him to do that. I guess that's part of the chain wrestling or something like that they call it. So he did pretty good on that. He caught me off guard.
From your perspective, Derrick, Daniel, he's building quite a legacy. Do you think he could be one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time when it's all said and done for him?
I don't know, man. Shit. We'll just see how things go, Shit, this is a second heavyweight fight. I don't know.
Thank you, Derrick.
Yeah, well, Souza, I'm done. Yeah, we got one more guy. And then we're going for the Steelers. Right here. Then we're going down to I said that I'm leaving for Baltimore for the Steelers and
Oh,
It's probably gonna take us.
As long as he doesn't make any pieces. Doesn't he do interviews with like whoever did the event, like John Anik, and then he'll do interviews with like Fox?
Probably, but he should have done all that. You know?
It's been about an hour and 15 minutes.
It shoots at 6. Preliminaries and anything. The clock's just set back. I think it did too. I looked at my clock, it said 2.
And what just went to 1?
Yeah. Makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, you got that right in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta go back to like Cherry Hill.
I got a 10-month-old son that's gonna be up.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't give a shit that it was.
Oh no, dude. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
My kid works for the Jets.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he works production for the Jets. He's in Miami right now with the team.
Oh yeah?
Coached at Penn State. Did 2 years of production at Penn State. Watched his old man. I didn't even know he wanted to coach. He was coaching with Brian and Matt Franklin. He's 19 years old, traveling with the team, recruiting high school kids. And now he's with the Jets.
Like, hey, he's close to what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Just one kid?
My daughter, she's 18.
Okay.
Just graduated in June. She's going to be a canine therapist at the University of Tennessee after 2 years.
I think it's gonna come in back.
He was a Redskins PI guy.
Okay. Now, he's at all the UFC. He's got to work for them full time.
My buddy's doing looking for a fight. Buddy produces it.
I don't watch a lot of that. I watch a little bit of Tough, but I don't watch the
I saw some of the shows. I just don't have enough time to watch shit.
So they'll keep the same production crew when they go to ESPN, or would they?
UFC people out there in-house guys, but then they'll
On-air talent, or?
It's a good question. You know, maybe ESPN has their they're buying the product, so they might UFC might say UFC might say this is coming with us.
But who are they under contract? Like you talk about like on-air people, like Karen Bryan, like DC when he works for like who, right? They would be getting paid by Fox.
But they're also represented by UFC. So UFC's got money.
Right.
They ain't stepping out of the door without the UFC getting paid. So the money's going back to Vegas. So.
Well, because I heard that Karen Bryant, they're trying to get her to do some NFL stuff now.
Oh, really?
Well, because they don't have it anymore, right? They don't have the UFCs.
Yeah. Fox is going to WWE.
Yeah.
Wrestling. My buddy produces that Marty Miller out of Today.
Don't drink full of water. Huh?
Take
So,
care,
guys.
take care of the sponsor.
Yes, I think that's awesome.
Daniel, I'm here to your left.
Okay.
Congratulations on a historic victory, the first fighter to defend titles in 2 weight classes. What does that mean to you?
It means everything. You know, I told you guys for a very long time that I wanted to be remembered when I left the sport. I think when you get into doing things that have never been done before, that ensures that I will always be thought of when you think about the greatest fighters of all time. It's truly amazing. And then to do it in Madison Square Garden, it was just insane.
And it seems you had a bit of an accident this morning, correct? You hurt yourself?
I hurt myself this morning bad. And look, sometimes I go into the octagon and I hear it in the build-up, like, when is this guy going to get old? You know, it could happen overnight. I thought it happened this morning. I sneezed. And I slipped my back out, guys. I was hurting bad. Like, seriously, we got some pictures that we may release later in the week, but like, I sneezed, and because I sneezed, my back slipped out. And I went to try to do my morning run, and it wasn't happening. I went back in the UFC. You know, they have the Performance Institute. They travel with us now. So Heather Linden and Clint Wattenberg, they came over with the massage table, with the stim machine, with all kinds of stuff to try to help me release my back. And then at around 1 o'clock, it was to the point that I was still kind of singed over and leaning, and Bob Cook was all, if you don't get better, then we're going to have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to fight. So it was real close. I said, just let me take a nap. I said, if you let me take a nap, I'll see if I feel better. And I woke up and went for a walk. And when I went for a walk and got active, my back started to release a little bit. It was very scary because I really had no idea how we were going to explain that. Like, I mean, I was like, I don't know how we're going to explain this. Like that, I sneezed and hurt my back. That's getting old. That's what that is.
Right, and so your performance wouldn't have shown it. Did you feel, as good as you could have in the octagon against Derrick?
Well, once I started feeling better, I just really kind of turned up the feeling better. I mean, sometimes you can almost mentally make yourself feel better. But again, this is three-week training camp, and generally when I'm in fight camp, at about 3 weeks, my back does kind of go bad, and I have to take a few days off to recover. But I usually have 5 weeks left of training. Just so happened that it happened on the day of the fight. But once I got into the octagon, we had a real focus of being very bundled up and just really hot. Once I got warm, I mean, my locker room the temperature was at about 85 degrees. Because once I got warm, I needed to stay warm. I was wearing old busted up sweatpants, an Oklahoma State wrestling sweat top, because I needed to make sure that once I got hot and I got sweating, I didn't cool down. Because when your back's bothering you, when you cool down, it's over. Like, you are done for the rest of the afternoon. It would have been unfortunate if I was done for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's crazy. So going forward from here, it seems like the Brock Lesnar fight is next. The UFC just announced its schedule for next year. There's UFC 235, which is beginning of March, 2 weeks before your birthday. Dana said he wants you to take some time off after taking this fight. So does that seem like that could be the last one, the farewell fight?
Yep, that could be the retirement fight for old DC. That's crazy, right? When you start to think about it. Talk about having an opportunity to go out on an all-time high. Headlining in Vegas against Brock Lesnar. Before I turned 40, 2 weeks before my birthday, have my biggest fight. It's crazy. But I'm glad that he wants me to take some time, because I stepped up on short notice. And honestly, I've fought 3 times this year with 3 finishes. 3 championship fights, 3 finishes. I've had a big year. Probably one of my more active years that I've had in a long time. And it just feels good to get my hand raised. And it looks like March 3rd is the 3rd, 4th? March 2nd? Yeah, so March 2nd, 2019 could be the last time you guys see me fight in the octagon.
Well, that's sad to hear. But in terms of the actual fight against Brock himself, how do you see this thing going? I mean, is this a guy that can test you, or do you see yourself being very dominant against him like you have in some of, majority of your fights?
I think he can test me. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. And his wrestling kind of cancels out my biggest advantage over most people. This guy's an NCAA wrestling champ. He's a 4-time All-American, was second as a junior, 2-time junior college national champion. I mean, Brock is a beast, man. I know I talk a lot of trash about him, but he is a real life beast, and he's a guy that is going to really push me, and I'm excited about it. Could you imagine the visual? I mean, me standing across the octagon with Brock Lesnar? It's going to be insane. But it's also going to be fun. And it's another opportunity for me to test myself in the octagon, because that's what I'm doing. You know, right now it's about testing. Fighting these bigger guys is always a test.
I just want to talk about the fight. You, in the post-fight interview, you talked about getting caught and that you were blinking for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that exchange?
I don't know what happened exactly. I think when I picked his leg up, he punched me. Now, I did that with Rumble, and Rumble hit hard, but not like this dude. When this dude hit me, I was like, holy smokes. I don't know if he just threw it as hard as he possibly could or what, but it was powerful. I was like, wow, Derrick Lewis is really powerful. I was like, I need to stay on this dude's legs. So I just kept wrestling. I just kept wrestling. My boys at Gilroy would be proud. They would be proud. You know, all my little wrestlers would be proud about Coach going out there securing some takedowns. First takedown, I got him with that inside trip. Second one was a single leg, ran the pipe. Third one was I shelved his leg up and threw him down. And the last one, I actually got a front headlock to an ankle pick, which is something you don't generally get in fights, but he had kind of gotten lost. You know, we like to say lost in the sauce. You know, you give him so many things that they can't keep up. Because in fighting, a lot of guys have good baseline defense. So you just keep throwing things at them until something sticks at the wall. Keep throwing at the wall, something will stick. That ankle pick knocked him back, and he kind of looked like, again, I'm on my back again. You know, and then Coach Leandro said, KC control. It's a system that we've worked for a long time, checkmate. And when he did it, I covered the legs, and he turned back to his knees and just presented his neck. I mean, he's the first guy, though, that when I got him in half guard, I start to punch him, and he turns to his knees, and I catch the inside wrist. I love to do that. That's like my favorite position, grabbing the inside wrist and just starting to let go with the other hand. He still got up. That's how strong this dude was. And I was holding his wrist, and he still got to his feet. It was crazy. I thought about just letting him go and trying to kick him in the head, but the danger in that was that I might have to stand up with him again. I'd rather just grab his leg.
One last question about the fight. You know, did anything surprise you in how he approached it? I know he threw a couple switch kicks, a few front leg kicks. Anything surprise you, or was that in the game plan?
That's what we expected. I mean, he's always done that. You know, it's a lot of big actions with Derrick Lewis. It's not like you can watch guys, like you watch a guy that's throwing everything, but he's not necessarily throwing everything with 100% power. Like I don't. I kind of throw things to set and get to the shot that I think is going to be super meaningful. But Derrick doesn't do that. Like those big jumping kicks and those big, huge actions that he does is just him. So I expected it. That one leg kick he threw in the first round, I kind of turned to check it, but I didn't get my shin all the way forward. So I took it on the outside of my leg. My leg's a bit swollen now from one kick. It's crazy.
Champ over here. Congrats on your performance tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Where do you rate Derrick as opposed to some of your other opponents that you faced this year, especially going up against Stipe?
He's not as good as Stipe, obviously. Stipe's the most successful heavyweight champion we've ever had. You know, he's a tremendous fighter, and he's really good. Derrick is a specialist. A lot of times, specialists really struggle with guys that can do just about everything. Because the reality of the situation is, if I was forced to stand with him, I would have, but he did not have the same option as me when it came to the grappling, right? I could have stood with him if I needed to, but I didn't need to because of the wrestling. He can obviously stand with me, but he can't grapple with me. He does not have that ability, and specialists tend to struggle like that. Just like the jiu-jitsu guys. When they can only grapple, they struggle when they're forced to stand. You've got to be a well-rounded mixed martial artist if you want to be successful in this game.
And second and final question from me. Second highest pay-per-view behind UFC 229 for you tonight at the Garden. You've got that fight coming up against Brock, possibly. He just won the WWE title last night. Where do you see that putting you in terms of negotiating your next fight, your final fight? Do you think that kind of puts you over the top compared to this fight tonight?
I don't understand what you just said.
I'm sorry.
How would you know how the pay-per-views did?
No, it's a gate of the year. Gate of the year.
The gate.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hey, so here's the deal with the gate, right? When we got announced for this fight, the ring was still pretty empty. I mean, honestly, and they had some good fights on this card, you know. So I think that is a testament to maybe what Derrick had gained in terms of his following. Or I've always had full arenas. You know, whether they're booing me or cheering me, I've always had full arenas, which is a really good thing. You know, Buffalo last year was filled to the brim when I fought against Anthony Johnson. Obviously, when Jones and I fight, it's always full. Gustafson in Houston, full. Like every time I fight, it's full. My next fight, when it comes to Lesnar, I gotta be honest with you guys. Like when it comes to negotiating, like I kind of just ask and they just kind of do it. Like it's really not like me going, I want $3 million. And they go, no. It's almost like, oh, okay, you kind of deserve it. And they just kind of been doing it. Like it's just like when you do things the right way, they kind of they respect that. And Dana White's that type of guy. You know, he really does take care of me in a lot of different ways.
They said it was the second highest commercial pay-per-views of the year, so bars and everything were behind G20.
I don't even know what that means.
So the sales of bars is like.
Well, that's good. That means I'm going to get the check. What happened to UFC 226? It's supposed to be the super fight. God dang, man. Stipe. I'm not taking no fault. I'm not taking no fault. Stipe. I'm not taking no fault.
DC. So this is the book is closed on 205 pounds now. Is that correct?
You know, so here's the thing, Marundi. Here's the thing.
You know my actual name.
Yeah, Ramondi. Yes, I do know your name's Ramondi, but one time he did a pre-fight show and he might have picked me to lose, so I've been calling him Ramondi from that day forward. But we've really
That's 4 years ago.
4 years ago I've been calling him Ramondi, but we have squashed our beef. We had Brazilian Candy the other day together. It was awesome.
Brigadero.
There you go. It was really good. What was the question?
Light heavyweight. That like the book is closed on
Okay.
the division for you.
Okay, so today I weighed 247. Yesterday I weighed 251. So maybe I should have not had breakfast before weigh-ins. But I cut from this weight to 205. Like there's no difference in what I weigh today as to what I weigh when I fight 205. Last Thanksgiving, got a little crazy, and I got this scale in my house, which I swear that's heavy, but I don't think it is. And I got on my clothes. You know when you're scared to get on the scale because you're like, I'm gonna wear my clothes to try to lie to myself and say I got 10 pounds of clothes on. And it said I weighed 260 pounds the day after Thanksgiving. And I weighed in at 205 on January 19th to fight Vulcan. So I mean, I know how to I will cut the weight if I have to, but that won't happen for anyone. That'll only happen if Lesnar isn't available and then I get to fight Jones. It's the only way.
The reason I asked is I asked Jones about this yesterday at the press conference, and he doesn't seem too keen on giving you a shot at 205 or heavyweight.
Giving me a shot.
That's the word that he used.
I mean, seriously, giving me a shot. Here's the deal. When it comes to Jones, it's hard for me to really take anything seriously because you say I don't want to give you a shot and you don't deserve it. I beat you. You said you knocked me out, which you did, and you guys know I've always said he won the fight. And he once put a video up of a little girl kicking a girl in the head. I said, look, man, she said that kick up perfect. But you were on steroids, dog. You can't use that. The same thing. I'm sure USADA said whatever, but you still had steroids in your system. It does not matter. You can't be on steroids in no way, shape, or form. That's not fair. So for him to say, I don't think he deserves a title shot or I'm not going to grant him, who are you to grant me anything? I'm the guy that's been here this whole time. 3 years been the light heavyweight champion because this dude can't stay out of trouble. That dude actually got in so much shit that they just said, here, DC, you can have the belt back last year after knocking me out. Like, seriously. How crazy must the guy that won be for them to go, hey, man, you can just have this back. Seriously. Because we know with you, shit's safe. You know, that shit's safe in San Jose. With you, it's safe. But with this dude, like, we don't know what he's going to do. So they just gave it back. I mean, seriously, think about it. Him and Alexander, right? Listen to the difference. Listen to the difference. Him and Alexander are fighting for what belt? This one. But what's it called? Interim? No. What's it called? Vacant. Right? So why wouldn't Volk and I have fought for the vacant light heavyweight title? Right? Guy got stripped. Just like I'm getting stripped. Why wouldn't I have fought for a vacant title? Because they know with me it's safe. And I'm not sure if he wins in December and then gets in trouble again, they don't go, hey, TC, you want this thing back? I mean, seriously. It's crazy.
Last thing for me, I asked Dana earlier, we were talking about you, and I asked, could DC be the president of the UFC one day? Does he have the ability to be the promoter? Because he reshared a video of you talking about Derrick. You were selling the fight. Do you think that could be your future at any point?
I love the UFC. Like, I want to be working with the UFC for the rest of my career. Not only fighting, but broadcasting. But I've got some great opportunities, man. I've got some really, really big opportunities that I can't share right now. But I've got some real life opportunities. And with these opportunities, I'll make more money than I've ever made fighting. So you do things the right way and you educate yourself to try to present yourself in the right light. So many things are going to come your way. So I've got some real life opportunities coming my way that I can't even share. That's outside of WWE. So I've got some big things coming that I will probably be able to have to focus on. So I don't know if I can be the president.
Movies,
But
TV?
how cool, it's not movies. I don't want to do movies. I don't like it too much, but it's just more TV stuff. But it's going to be big TV stuff. And you guys will be excited when it happens.
So I have a few things. First thing, regarding the punch that hit you in the eye, we had asked Derrick, you know, what did you hit him with? And he said he didn't feel anything. So it really does hit hard. Are you sure that was in the clinch? Was it somewhere else?
Well, I know I got punched. He punched me. Maybe he didn't feel me punching him, but I know he punched me and he kicked me. But it was a punch. Yeah, when I had his leg up on my shoulder, I think he just kind of reached back and punched me. I mean, you guys saw the fight. I was in there. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was trying to just survive.
It seemed like it was actually a fairly, aside from the standing exchanges, which, you know, you could try and take your head off at any point, you had most of the control on the ground. You got up a few times, which you knew where it was going to play out. Was that any harder than the struggle you had getting your warm-up shirt off before walking into the ring?
It was a lot harder, man. Don't be disrespecting Derrick. He did a good job. Look.
No, I meant the struggle with the shirt was pretty hard.
Oh my God, Bob tried to kill me. I said, Bob, zipper. I was like, zipper. Then he takes off the overshirt and then still tries to pull the shit off with the zipper again. I go, Bob, zipper. This is embarrassing because I was in the bag, right? Like, and I'm thinking about my back and everything else. I'm like, oh man, this is a horrible way to start the day. And then we've been pretty seamless with that whole deal. I mean, I don't even take my shirt off. I just reach over to Bob knowing Bob's going to pull my shirt off and then give me my mouth guard in the same order every time. Today he hands me the mouth guard first and then tries to strangle me with the damn shirt. You should have heard me like under the shirt going, zipper. Trying not to say it too loud so the cameras didn't pick it up. I was like, zipper, dude, seriously, what are you doing? God dang, Bob. He was nervous. He was scared of the black beast.
And the final question is, you said you only go down to 205 Jones. What happens if Gustafsson wins and Lesnar doesn't make it, maybe?
And I guess I'm fighting Stipe again, I guess.
It's not happening for anybody but Jones, regardless.
Yeah, at 205?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's the only one. But if Lesnar can't fight and Jones loses, I'll fight Stipe. If it's not Lesnar or heavyweight, it'll be Stipe. Like, he deserves a rematch. I mean, I never said he didn't. And I've always said it'll be him if not Lesnar. I just didn't want to fight him on 3 weeks' notice. I mean, you got to understand that. Like, I didn't. we wouldn't put our best product out there if it was him and I in 3 weeks. So it's better to have a full camp if we do it again.
DC, to your right. And sort of a broader question, but it's kind of remarkable. We're living in an age where a lot of UFC stars are like trying to get ahead by pushing back against the promotion at times, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. You don't ever seem to do that. You actually seem to work with them in tandem, and I mean, it's just sort of remarkable. Like, is there a lesson to infer from that?
Yeah, I mean, it's that conflict doesn't always work, right? Conflict doesn't always work. Now, there have been times where I've been pissed off. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I got pissed at things. It's just that after I talk, most times with Dana, you know, we sit down and we talk about things and we hash it out. It works. It just kind of works. Like, I'm not a young guy. I'm an older guy that understands that it's usually better to try to resolve things than to continue on the path of just being just in conflict. So it just works. And honestly, if you're looking at the guys that have benefited from the issues with the company, and you watch the guy that hasn't, it seems to work. I make a ton of money every time I fight. Every time I fight, I make a ton of money. And when I don't make a ton of money fighting, I'm making a ton of money calling fights or doing something else for the UFC. It works. There's no reason to. I mean, it just closes so many doors because then you become hard to work with. It's like any other job, and I'm not sitting here like saying I don't have my issues, because I do, and I'm very vocal about my issues. They're just not public. As I don't talk about the arguments I have with my wife or with my parents or anybody, I don't need to talk about the issues I have with the UFC. I did that post about USADA, and that was bad. Like, USADA was like trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. They're like, yo man, you when you say things, it does have value. So when you're doing this, it's a problem. And then I spoke to them and the UFC and everybody, and we kind of understood. I made two people that I like a lot. The lady that texted me in San Jose, I've been tested more than anybody. And because of all the things I said, they were at the gym one day to test me, and they were just like nervous. They're usually so warm and like engaging to me. They were both just kind of sitting in the corner, almost not sure of how I would treat them because I was so openly negative towards the company that they work for. And I told them, like, I'm over that, you know. I was mad a few weeks ago. I'm fine. I get over things quick.
DC, you mentioned you and Brock obviously communicate and text each other. Have you gotten a text from him after this fight? I'm sure you watched it wherever he is in the world right now.
I don't know. I haven't checked my phone. You know, winning fights is great, but like going through your messages afterwards is the worst. It literally takes hours because everybody seems to text you and then they get mad at you like, hey man, I called you. I'm like, of course you did. Everybody did. It's like, how am I supposed to answer the phone for every single person? Why didn't you text me back? I'm like, and initially I didn't take that scene thing off of my phone, so they would look at when I saw that message. Thank God for Danny Rubenstein. He told me how to take it off. Like, they would see scene, and I'd be like, I know you saw it. I'm like, no I didn't. They're like, dude, screen grab. Like, you saw my text, and I'm just like, I'm dead silent. Because if you answer, then it starts a conversation. Now you've got hundreds of people trying to have a conversation with you. It's impossible, so I haven't checked it yet. But if there is a text from Brock, I'll probably respond to him and tell him to kick his ass. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
As always. Be careful what you say. I almost fell the other day again. In my old age, my balance is off.
Thank you.
Go toward Esther.
Video, you want me to
Wherever.
put this down? You want the cable too, or is it staying here? Yeah. Where's the truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a PO right there.
Yeah,
That's my PO right there, and then your spirit back over there. We switched out one of their molds because we thought we were having an issue with mine. It turned out to be a bad and then your bag is right here.
Mark, will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
That back, the far right one, the far right one. Up top, the top right, yeah, that one.
Yank it?
Yeah. It'll be a little button, a little. Perfect. Thank you, sir.